Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here, and today I have for you guys one of the craziest, strangest, frustrating, and how else would I describe this? Action-packed for sure, and all-around crazy matches I've had in this game in a very, 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 very long time. So first off, standard battle. Not an overly fun game mode in my opinion. Second of all, there's only 10 ships per team in this match. This is at 10 o'clock in the morning. Granted, it was on Thanksgiving Day, so that probably has a lot to do with the team composition. Thirdly, or fourthly, I've lost count at this point because I'm not a math teacher. There's a tier 7 ship on the enemy team in a tier 10 match. So we got a fell div going on there. So, yeah. And that, my friends, is just the tip of the iceberg for this match. So I am in the Ohio, the Tier 10 American battleship, the Research Bureau ship, which is one of the 3 Research Bureau ships that I think is actually worth the regrind. Here's my commander build. And my module build as well. It's a full secondary build. Get these lovely American secondaries out to 11.3 kilometers with a fantastic reload time. Now, the American secondaries, they don't pin like the German secondaries do, but they sure do set a ton of fires and are very good at chewing through DDs and light cruisers. So anyway, I am moving up on the what is normally the C cap on this map for domination, but since it's standard battle, there's no C cap here. And I'm spotted, so it's one of the 3 DDs spotting me. And unfortunately, there's the RPME on this side of the map who can overmatch my bow, and if I... Oh, there's the Riga too. If I want to turn around, I'm probably going to eat a hefty amount of damage from him. So I kind of chill here, bowing for a second. I'm like, okay, it's the RPME. Then we got the Riga who's going behind the island. So this is all that's on this side. I might be able to make a break for the eastern side of the island right there. And hey, Olin, what are you doing, buddy? Kiev, no! No, Kiev! Turn! Stop! And, oh! 2.5 minutes into the match, and the Oland has friendly fired the Kiev. Alright then. So North Carolina, hey, Alaska, what are you doing? Okay, so the Alaska's just bum rushing the cap. North Carolina showed up here too. Yeah, there's the Nagato, tier 7 battleship and a tier 10 match. It didn't click in my head just yet. But anyway, so North Carolina's there, the RPM is there, and I gotta turn around. There's too much fire here for me to just sit there and tank the damage, because I won't be able to tank all of it. And this is a call that you may have to make from time to time playing a battleship. It's, do you sit there and eat the damage, or turn and just... You know, it's like ripping off a Band-Aid. Just take your licks, hope you don't get deleted. Because, I mean, if I would have sit there in front of the Nagato, the RPM, the Holland, and the North Carolina, I just would have slowly been chunked to death. And I got away pretty unhindered. I mean, I did eat some pretty big licks, but it was much better than what it could have been. So RPM is there, and looks like he's actually knows what he's doing, so he's... You know, probably an actual decent Yamato player, which he does. He does a pretty good job in this match. He's sitting at that angle to where you can't really get any good hits on him. If I was a little bit closer, I could have got his Citadel on his cheek there, but I was a little bit too far away. From about 13 kilometers in is when you can really hit that cheek Citadel reliably on the RPME. Okay. So, now what we have going on here is we've got, well, most of their team on this side of the map, and it's myself, the Odin, the Kiev on the eastern flank, and then the Musashi, Alaska, Bismarck, Z46 against the Fletcher, Kiev, Colbert, and Lion on the western flank. So most of their heavy hitters are on this side of the map, the Riga, the RPM, and the NorCal. The Colbert is, of course, the Colbert and a machine gun, but he's on the other side of the map, so hopefully he won't bother me too much during this match. And the Venezia just check out the Fletcher. So right now we have the ship advantage. They're down 1 cruiser and the Fletcher, while we are just down 1 there goes our Musashi. Yep. Colbert did Colbert things. You just burnt that Musashi down to the ground. Oh boy. So the Kiev now is making a push on the Riga of all ships, and the Kiev's not very, oh, well, no, he's at even less health now. And the thing is, the Kiev torpedoes aren't that great. You got to get pretty close to use them, and that's not normally how you Kiev. I just got done power grinding through the Soviet DD line, and he would have wanted to be at max range, just burning the Riga, you know, annoyingly over time. But he charges him, dumps torpedoes, gets one hit. Riga comes out broadside onto me, which is fantastic for me. I remove most of his health, get him down to about 8,000 health there, and then get my secondaries to start chewing into him. So start a fire on him. You can see the secondaries, they do a pretty good job of chunking him, mainly because they're hitting his superstructure. And, I mean, when you have this many secondaries, you're going to get a kill throwing enough stuff at the wall. If anything, Wargaming has taught us that with these ships like the Smolensk and the Colbert. Doesn't matter if you can pin him, just hit him enough to set enough fires, and death by 10 million cuts. Alright, North Carolina, I thought he was moving. He wasn't. he just stops. Broadside on in front of an Odin and an Ohio. I'm like, what? Your tactics confuse me, sir. Like, he is legitimately just stopped broadside on. Buddy, how are you this high up in the American battleship line and you're playing it like that? Definitely not how you normally play a NorCal. There, I gotta set it off on him. And there's the Holland. Actually started to turn in toward that channel right there, because I thought the Holland was sitting in that channel waiting for me to come by just to shove some torpedoes in my face. But he went around me to shove torpedoes in my face, which, good on him. That's a good move right there. He starts to gunboat me, but if you notice in the mini-map, the Venezia is approaching him. And I eat 4 of his torpedoes. Fortunately, they are just Holland torpedoes, and oh, there goes a NorCal. So they don't do a lot of damage anymore, and that would have been quite detrimental to me. So with the North Carolina down, that brings me to 2 kills. That's about a third of the enemy team at this point. Not a third, a fifth of the enemy team at this point. Jeez, like I said, I'm not a math teacher. Venezia chunks the Holland pretty good. Holland opens back up on me. My damage con and repair party are on cooldown right now, but my secondaries are still out on him. Managed to ironically burn down the Holland with the fire that I set. And now he set a fire on me. Now it's 1 fire. I'm at about 15,000 health when it started. So it won't kill me, but it will drain most of my health. Fortunately, the Ohio has a very fast cooldown time on its repair party, just like the Massachusetts. So that's very, very, very nice, especially in this situation. Now, in front of me, I have the Yami. That's no bueno, because it can overmatch my bow, and I'm at about, well, 9,000 health right now with the repair party running to fight the fire. So that's roughly 1 good bow pin on me, and I'm dead from the RPM. So I slow down here, just get myself behind this line, tuck myself very neatly behind this island to eliminate any chance of a cross shot happening from anywhere on the map, and I just back off the throttle, let the repair party run. I'm going to sit here and slowly creep forward while I wait for the repair party to come off cooldown again, which thankfully is only about 35 seconds. That way I can have about 40,000 health when I go after the Yami. And there's Nagato, Mr. Tier 7. It was at this point that I went, huh, the Nagato, that's not the Yamagi. What's it doing here? And I look, sure enough, he's in a division with the North Carolina. And he got double up tiered to tier 10. Well, in his case, triple up tiered. Terrain indicator lies to me. I only get 1 shell through the crack in the island, and it misses anyway. So anyway, if you didn't know, a fell division is when a ship of 1 tier below divs up with a ship like a tier 8, and then the tier 8 gets double up tiered, so the tier 7 gets triple up tiered. So the Nagato, I mean, I can just blast him straight through his nose easily with the guns on the Ohio. I popped my second heal, and now I have a pretty decent amount of health, enough to for sure push the Nagato. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm just going to blap him through his nose or through his side armor. It doesn't really matter. The Ohio's 457mm guns will just eat through him right away, and then that'll be the end of him. So I come around the corner of the island, turn in toward him, because he should know that I'm coming now. I was detected. And hello, buddy. So I just aim at his upper belt armor, and 6 torpedo protection hits that effectively do no damage. I would have preferred bounces. It would have been less insulting. And oh, hello, I got the RPM on my right flank. So I'm like, oh boy, So what I do is I keep the island on my right in between me and the RPM to keep his guns off of me. And then Nagato is now going more bow into me, so I can just shoot him through his bow now. But 2 more torpedo protection, it's 2 actual pins for 5,000 damage. And thankfully I'm angled enough to where he only gets 5,500 off with his 2 main turrets. And now I'm like, ah, crap, this situation's not improving. The Nagato's moving forward. Yami got his, I think his rear turret off on my bow, but just overpinned. And I'm like, oh, well, this guy's going to try and ram me now. Guns reloaded. He's showing a much flatter broadside. There we go. Goodbye, Nagato. Like, alright, now we got this RPM that I need to deal with. Mounted heals. Now I popped my heal in anticipation of the Nagato getting my broadside, and it paid off some. Anyway, so I'm coming around the corner now. RPM is showing me a pretty flat broadside. He's turning over too, so he's exposing more of his citadel to me. And I'm not paying attention. His rear turret is facing toward me. His front 2 turrets are trying to get on the Odin, it looks like. I get my front 2 turrets off, citadel the crap out of the Yami. Yami citadels the crap out of me, but I live with 3,500 health left and no heals. Ooh. And there's a lion right by me. And if you notice, the Oland is like 5 pixels away from capturing the enemy cap, and we would win obviously if he would capture that. Down in the south, you got an Alaska and Venezia fighting the Colbert. Up here, you got the Odin, the Bismarck, myself, and on a very low health Ohio, and then the Oland. Now, I'm not firing right now because I'm trying to see if I can maybe get out of his, get out of my detection range and go dark and just live. That way, I can preserve the points that my ship is worth for my team. But that's not happening. So Lion gets off his front 2 turrets on me. I maneuver as hard as I can to hopefully avoid them, and that was close. Now, with that British BBHE, 1 shell is all that would take to end me. If he would just tap me once, I am dead. So now I'm just running, trying to get as many of my teammates between myself and the Lion, and I know I can't get out of my detection range, so I just start opening up the rear turrets now, presenting as small of a target as I can toward the Lion. And then the Lion gets distracted by the half-health Odin, and not the 3,500 health Ohio. I'm well within the Lion's range. I'm only 14 kilometers away from him. He has like a 21 or 24 kilometer range, I do believe. Why is that shooting at me? I don't know. Anyway, Ohio, turns out we have like 1% of your health left. You get a 22-second reload with Adrenaline Rush, which that is fantastic. So since the Lion is being distracted by the Odin, I'm like, alright, well, I could just show my broadside, get all my guns going with this amazing 22-second reload on the Ohio. Yeah, it's freaking great. So Lion's showing me broadside, get high caliber there, get my rear 2 turrets off on him. And let's see what happened to take a screenshot of the situation. And there we go. That is kill number 6. Oh yeah, I got Kraken when I killed the Yami, by the way. So that's kill number 6 for me. So I have killed 6 out of the 10 ships on this team. Okay, pretty good. Alright, so situation. The Colbert has now entered our friendly cap. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ships. We have half of our team left. If we all dogpile that enemy cap, we can outcap the Colbert. Venezia's pretty fast, he's pretty close to it. Odin's fast, he's pretty close to the cap too. Bismarck's 32 knots, and Oland is also pretty fast. It is a DD, but it is a pan-Euro DD. They aren't the fastest DDs ever, but it's a pretty quick ship. And then myself and the Ohio with the speed flag, I can go 29.5 knots. So if we just all get in there, we can outcap him. And someone is suggesting that the Venezia go back and try to reset the Colbert, which, yeah, it could happen, but Colbert could get lucky, burn the Venezia down, even though the Venezia is at pretty high health at this point. The safe play, at least in my mind, would be just to get everyone in cap and just outcap the Colbert. 1 ship versus 5 ships, we can win that cap trade. And, I mean, that's a tough call. Because sending the Venezia to go reset the Colbert, it could work, but can he get there in time? The Colbert could just sit in a smoke screen, and, you know, the Venezia would have to bum rush him, which, I mean, it could work. He could get in the cap and contest, but he could also get unlucky and use a torpedo or 2, and, well, no more Venezia. So it's a tough call. And, you know, I was contemplating, do we send the Venezia back or do we just try to outcap him? And in my mind, I was like, okay, if we can try to outcap him with 5 ships versus 1, we should be able to win the cap trade. And the Bismarck's getting to the cap right now. The Olin just got into the cap, and I'm not much further behind the Bismarck. So all we have to do to win is just everyone sit in the cap and outcap the Colbert. If you look at the tick marks, we are catching up quite fast. And once I get in there, we should. Except the Odin just left the cap circle with all of his cap points. Yeah. Full speed straight out of the cap circle. It was going to be close, but if the Odin hadn't left, we would have outcapped the Colbert and won this insane match. So, should the Venezia have been sent down? Yeah, he could have reset him, could have kept him occupied, still probably could have won, but if the Odin had just stayed in the cap circle, we would have overtaken the Colbert and won the match. So, that's a 6-kill, high caliber, close quarters expert game that was a loss. Oh, and a Kraken too, if I didn't mention that. Oh, and a Dreadnought, of course. You know, me surviving with 3,000 health left on my Ohio. So yeah, this is a absolute crazy match that we unfortunately lost. Like Jingle says, snatched from the jaws of victory. And I mean, wow, it's been a while since I had a match like that where something like that. You know, somebody either leaving the cap circle, you know, loses us the match, or a little slip up like that. But in hindsight, probably should have asked for the Venezia to go down. But again, if the Odin stayed in the cap circle, we would have won. But hindsight is for sure 2020. You know, guys, hope you're having a wonderful Friday. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. We are on our way to 20,000 subscribers, hopefully hitting that goal by the end of 2020. Also, I will be live streaming right here on the channel tonight, so please come out and join us. I will be live streaming from 5 p.m. U.S. Central Time until 8 p.m. U.S. Central Time right here on the channel and on Twitch as well. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Friday. I hope to catch you guys in the next one.